This is another quote from Richard Dawkins, and see what you make of this. Religion is about turning untested belief into unshakable truth. Well, that's a pretty strong charge. Untested belief into unshakable truth. First of all, before I remind you for the 88th time that Christianity is based on fact. If any Christian says to you, I just have faith, Bill, I just have faith. I'm saying blind faith is not the Christian way to do it. Christianity rests on this. Jesus Christ is who he said he was, right? If he didn't die, the death that they claim in the Bible, and if he didn't resurrect on the third day, if he didn't walk among the people, and if he didn't ascend into heaven to the throne, then Christianity is a mockery of these things. It's just a bunch of lazy people in history writing a very bad story about a legendary character. It can be charged with all those things, and I'd be the first to charge it with that. When I was an atheist, I often charged it with that. Just being a grand fairy tale for those people who, as Stephen Hawking said, who couldn't afford to deal with the dark. They were afraid of the dark, so they made up this fairy tale. Problem is, that's not what Christianity holds. It says that you can prove the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and it begs you, it challenges you to investigate it with a clear mind. Very few people ever take that challenge up. When you do, what you'll find is people become Christians. They'll bow their knee to it and say, nothing is well attested in history as the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth. And one time when I do a series on that, I'll inundate you in the evidence, and to where you'll just wish I had not bothered. You'll wish I had shut it off halfway through. That's how strong the evidence is. But here he is. Religion is about turning untested belief into unshakable truth. The very thing Richard's guilty of. If I charge him with anything, it's putting untested things into unshakable truths. He transforms them with one magic act that he does at some colleges, or in his case now, he does it more on greater stages in colleges even. But here's what happens. If you go back to atheism, they're always going to stumble right out of the blocks, but they have something coming from nothing. And I know that you say, Mr. Moore, you repeat that. You know why I repeat it? It's the strongest and simplest explanation that they have about why they're in error. In other words, this is a simple statement. Nobody can misunderstand the words. Why can't they answer it? You know what their answer is? One day we'll find out. Or they say something magically, and I say, you mean miraculously, turned into something from nothing? Miraculously? They don't like miraculously. They'll just say, we're not sure how it happened. So I say, mindlessly it happened. Yes. When nothing existed. Yes. Okay. If you can swallow that, don't you have to give me proof for it before you make that into an unshakable truth you're teaching in the 7th grade at Franklin Middle School in Springfield, Illinois? I mean, come on. There ought to be some kind of common sense here that we apply. Until they can answer that question, then they can tell me how the Big Bang might have worked or something. I don't know what exploded, and they don't either, trust me. But I'll show you that when I deal with it. But they're also saying, think about it. If it's scattered out in space, now, you know how many miracles they need for that to happen? They start with a one-celled something, and it's going to end up being you. And you don't ask the question about how many miracles it takes to get through this. And they give you one lie. Time. Time's the answer. Time. If you ask them how much, it just depends on how large of a number they can make up in their mind. Trust me, this stuff is so bad. I've told you from the beginning, it's a very desperate attempt to understand life without God, but it's not a very well done attempt. Okay, this is Richard Dawkins, and it's just as normal.